Hi everyone, my name is Momoka Terasako. Today, I want to talk about social issues and how to solve them. So please look at the slide first. This is written in Arabic, which is said to be one of the most difficult languages in the world. Can anyone tell me what it says? Good, because it is supposed to be difficult. This is Korean, and this is Spanish. I bet there aren't many people who can tell what it says. But what about this? Now what is written is much easier to predict. Even if you don't understand everything, you can tell that it is a menu, whether it is a food or drink, or a road sign for cars. You must feel a lot less anxious now. That is the kind of society I am aiming for. Now, here's how it all started. Last year, our history teacher took us on a field trip to Hiroshima City. Actually, our teacher is a native English speaker. He understands very little Japanese. Despite the fact, what struck me was that not only the city had more English translations, our teacher seemed safer and more comfortable there. And that got me thinking. The kinds of things you receive from the translations are more than what is written, but you would feel welcome and accepted when you see the language you understand. And I thought I would like to bring this back to my school and community. So I started working on it. I went to my student council team, explained what was on my mind. My vision is to add more English translations to our surroundings and to make more inclusive and more welcoming places for everyone. So, what should we do? We conducted a survey of foreign teachers and students in our school. Our question was if they feel language barriers, and if yes, when and where. We received a lot of responses, and it turned out that about 7 in 10 people find it challenging, and the most challenging place was the school cafeteria. This is the picture of our school's cafeteria before, and this is after the English translations were added. And here are the comments from the teachers. How do you think about English translations?
Because Japanese is such a difficult language, English translations are absolutely helpful.
Before, I just pick anything. Now that it has a translation, I know what I'm getting.
Vegetarians and vegans and people with allergies. So things like that is very important.
Could expand to other places in Fukuyama, that would be really helpful, not just to me, but to all the foreigners who are living in Fukuyama.
Over the last 6 months, we have provided English menu boards and English monthly menu. And I also worked on a brochure translation project for my local amusement park this summer. I have received a lot of positive feedbacks, but there are also areas that I would like to improve in the future. First of all, I'd like to expand my project to more schools, more communities. I'd like to get into more generations in areas where access to the internet and services are limited. And I'd like to continue my school cafeteria project and make it better so that more students can get involved. I'd like to finish out by sharing my favorite quote from Simon Sinek. Giving another, having their back is what makes the highest performing teams in the world. And I believe that every single one of us is a teammate on this whole planet. And what we need is just a commitment that no one will be left behind. I know how challenging it can be to live in a foreign country without knowing its language. But I also know how warm and safe it is to have someone who understands you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. So we will now move on to the Q&A session. Judges, do you have any questions?
Hey, thank you for your presentation. I would like to ask why you wanted to focus on English, especially while there are also people who wouldn't speak neither English or Japanese, and there are also possibilities like using illustrations or icons, for example, to reduce anxiety for people who aren't understanding what's written. So let me hear your passion toward the maybe English language if you have any story.
Okay. I chose English because it's an international universal language that is most learned second language around the world. And I also chose English because now in Japan too, from elementary, we learn English as a mandatory course in school. So I wanted more students to get involved, and I thought we can work as a group and do this project together.
Okay, thank you. Just one more question. You mentioned that you wanted to expand your project toward community and other areas of the society. Where do you think is the most crucial area that has to be addressed to reduce anxiety toward language for people who wouldn't understand Japanese?
I think it's pretty much the rural areas because it's going to be very difficult to access there. And even if you feel like you want to go visit there, it's gonna be very difficult. And yeah, the access is going to be difficult. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. I have one question. I'd like to ask you the personal opinion, your personal opinion. I understand there are many problems caused by language barrier. What is the most problem? The biggest problem. What is that?
In general?
In general, no. So from your experience or yeah.
Well, as I explained in this presentation, I think language barriers are very important, and I think this is also counted in the number 10 goal in SDGs, reduce inequalities, because I want to reduce differences in people and places. So yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have reached the end of the time, so we will end the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keiko Tanaka from the Fukuoka Futaba High School team. Please take the stage. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yeah. Let's begin.
Do you think Fukuoka is a fascinating place? We do, but people around the world don't even know about the city. This is a ranking of name recognition of Japanese cities. We aren't satisfied that Fukuoka's rank is in 8th place. Hello, we are We are a team that was established to make Fukuoka the most visited tourist city in Japan. In order to do this, we created a project to increase tourism to the city. The persona we have set for this project is Koreans. To be specific, we're looking at a 20-year-old female college student who's living in Busan, and she's an Instagrammer who enjoys posting photos. So, I would like to talk about why we set our persona as Koreans. The first reason is that the distance from Busan to Fukuoka is short. It's almost the same distance from Fukuoka to Hiroshima or Kagoshima. Added, this graph shows that the Koreans are the largest number of foreigners entering Japan. Furthermore, Koreans tend to visit more than twice. In other words, they are repeat visitors of Japan. we survey Koreans who have not yet visited Fukuoka, and they say things such as, I don't know where to go, and I cannot think of typical spots. To solve this problem, we set up a wealth map project. With the cooperation of Canal City Hakata, we set up the wealth map for 2 weeks. So, what is a wealth map? Look at this video. It's a map that anyone can add their recommended places for tourists to check out. Canal City ranks in. Canal City has the second highest number of tourists visiting, so we thought that by doing it here, we would have many people, especially Koreans, participate in our activities. By creating a web map instead of an application or website, we thought that the following cycle would increase the tourism to Fukuoka. First, tourists will be exposed to lesser known places. Second, they will post about Fukuoka on Instagram with #wealthmap. This would then allow tourists to introduce Fukuoka to their friends, and people who hear about it will come to Fukuoka. In this way, we hope to increase the tourism to Fukuoka. However, we face the challenge of how to make our wealth map and our activities known to as many people as possible. To solve this, we use Instagrams and hashtags that are commonly used by Koreans to get them notice our Instagram. Besides the wealth map, we also made a keychain as one of the tools to connect Korea and Japan. We added a QR code on the back of the keychain to let people notice our Instagram. We made 106 of them and gave it to those who follow our accounts and post about wealth map. After giving the keychain, the account's reach number has increased by 114. Our goal is to make Fukuoka the most visited tourist city in Japan. Just to recap, the Wealth Map project will convey Fukuoka's attractions to tourists to connect local informations, raise the name recognition of Fukuoka through social media, and more, thus leading to tourist industry as growing as more people visit Fukuoka and becomes the #1 destination in Japan. We have been continuing our activities. Recently, we shared our thoughts on Fukuoka's Fukuoka's tourism in front of the mayor of Fukuoka City. In the future, we would like to conduct activities in other places that are often visited by Koreans. We are focusing on Koreans for now, but we hope to cater to different countries as well. We all love Fukuoka, and we hope our passion will make Fukuoka well known. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We will now move on to the Q&A sessions. Judges, do you have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I have a question there. When you expand the target other than a Korean in the future, do you have any additional strategy at this moment?
Our next target is Chinese. It is because the second highest number of tourists Fukuoka is Chinese, so we thought that it would be good for our goals.
Thank you.
Any other questions, judges?
Thank you for your presentation. I wanted to ask why or how specifically you will be running this project in the future. You have been giving up, and I know you have done different kind of creations and projects.
what would be the specific thing you'll be doing maybe in the next half a year?
We want to expand this project, and we have been doing it in Canal City, but we want to do it in other places, and we it's called Marino City, and we mailed them and can we just do this activity, and they said yes. So if we finished our preparation, we will start doing it there.
Do you have any specific goal or a number? And if so, how are you going to achieve the impact of your project?
Our first goal is to we have now 170 followers. So we want to. Our first goal is to make that followers to 200, and then
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have reached the end of the time, so we will end the Q&A session. Thank you very much. The next presentation is by Haruka Miki. Please take the stage. Are you ready? Let's begin.
Hello, my name is Haruka Miki. Today I introduce glowing stage problem. Look at this picture. This is a survey of high school students across the country on their job hopes in 2023. This shows the 1 in 8 student is considering starting a business. But this is from MITI. This shows the Japanese opening rate is lower than others. The low rate of business startup is caused by schooling and worry about failing and lack of contact. Changing schooling is difficult, so I try to change the worry about failing and the lack of contact. This is a program process of my program process. In the first meeting, we set topic such as environmental problem or social issues to discuss in event, and we gather the information about it, and we comes up with idea. And next, we gather the speakers, and we deepen the event with them in second meeting. And its end, it will be put on the make group, and the participant from the group during the discussion, and they can discuss with group members. After that, they have free time to talk and interact with each other. These are the 3 keywords of my problem: high school student management, and new human resource development, and all open system. First, I talk about high school student management. We run this event with staff who are high school students, and this is good for students because they can learn their management or values, etc. And also, this is good for participants because we can understand their high school student needs and trends. Next one is the new human resource development. Now, schooling is like this. The teacher gives the information to student, and student discuss among them. But my new style is like this. So, this my event attended by high school student, and I call new leaders who work in or learn organization. This style is they can freely talk with them beyond their background, age, gender. Last, this is all open system. This means meetings, events, all of process will be posted on social media like this. This will allow the visitors who could not or are planning to come. And sorry. Next. Future outlook. I want to increase the number of students on the operation side. Second, to participate in various events and studies. Third, to organize that event and find out what is missing. These are reference. Yes, the world you see is bigger. This is the concept of my project. I want to I hope this project make the student to think their future and make to be your good memories. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We will now move on to the Q&A session. Judges, do you have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. I have a question that in terms of high school student management, are there any anticipated challenge and difficulties at this moment? And if they are, do you have any plans to break through?
Sorry, I can understand it.
In terms of the management structure run by the high school students, right? Do you think there's any difficulties, the challenges?
I think but high school student is, I'm first grade of high school student. I feel like I'm so busy, so I have to do many things.
Right.
So I think it is the difficult point.
Okay. So like that time management.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for the presentation. I have one question. I understand this is the concept stage, right? Yeah. So what is the first step to realize this concept? Actual concrete action. If you have any ideas, I'd like to ask. Do you have any ideas to what do you do? What do you do? That's the first step.
I want to like this, and the first step is I think to increase the number of the student or participant in various events, because I don't have any knowledge about organizing the event, so I want to join the event and increase the number of high school students.
Thank you.
We have reached the end of the time, so we will end the Q&A session. Thank you very much. The next presentation is by Reia Docherty. Please take the stage and begin your presentation. Hi everyone. Today I would like to present about the social entrepreneurship project Team Blue Leaf. Before I begin, I'd like to state a phrase by Nelson Mandela, which states, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world," which is a concept that we resonate with in our project. Blue Leaf itself is a student-driven project over the span of 3 years, which aims to support local change within Papua New Guinea through providing higher quality and better and easier access to education through authentic service. This is a photo of our members, and we are a global group coming from 9 different countries. So in our 3 years, we began in 2021, which is our first year, where we worked on understanding the context. In this year, we partnered with YGAP, an organization that helps social entrepreneurs all over the world, and more specifically, YHER, which is an organization helping women in Papua New Guinea. Through this, we were able to learn about their context and learn about the concept of authentic service. After that, we had the opportunity to work with One Young World, where we met with 3 successful social entrepreneurs in Papua New Guinea. This also helped us actually learn about their issues that they were facing in Papua New Guinea. And in the second year, we held most of our actions. We began collaborating with 2 schools in Papua New Guinea through contacting the Ministry of Education in Papua New Guinea. The first school is Koyari Park Adventist Primary School, located in Tanunda in Papua New Guinea. This school teaches grades 1 to 8, and we found that they had a major issue with their learning environments. First of all, the ratio of math textbook is only 2 to 30 students, which is unimaginable in Japanese schools. Furthermore, they had no desks and chairs. Therefore, we aim to fundraise in order to provide them a better learning environment. The second school we are working with is Mariamville Secondary School, located in Port Moresby in Papua New Guinea. This school is a secondary school teaching grades 9 to 12, and their main issue was that they only had 1 bathroom in the entire school. Therefore, we aim to fundraise in order to provide them more bathrooms, which would lead to a better learning environment. And we also hold monthly co-active sessions with the students, as seen in these images, where we learn more about their actual issues and we're able to talk to the students themselves. This led us to be more passionate about this project, as we actually had the chance to interact with the students. We've also had fundraising sessions at school, first being the physical fundraising and school events, which we held at 3 different events: the Spring Carnival, Family Day, and Winter Concert. We've also had 2 online crowdfunding websites, Ready For and another website. We've also had awareness raising at transnational presentations with Hong Kong, with Keiko College, which the fellow member Tarek used to learn at. And we also had another event where we gave away hundreds of brochures at Shinjuku to raise awareness about our project. Lastly, in our 3rd year, we're aiming to complete this project and also pass this project on to the next students in our lower grades so that this project is sustainable and ongoing. We're also planning to visit the Embassy of Papua New Guinea in Japan in order to share our project and our goals. I'd like to end with, we believe education is a human right and is the foundation to a brighter future. We want to deliver authentic, sustainable change. Thank you. And you can also scan the website and Instagram through these QR codes, and the judges have them below, passed out by Tarek right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We will now move on to the Q&A session. Judges, do you have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. I know you have been working on different projects to improve the educational opportunities for the children. But since your project name was social entrepreneurship in project, I wanted to ask you if you have any plans or interest toward expanding the project to different fields or areas, regions, and so on.
Thank you for the question, but unfortunately, we 5 of us are still high school students, so we really have a lack of funding, and also, well, we do have a lot of support from our teacher and our parents, but then we do have a lack of funding and also time. But then if we have the chance to expand the project to larger fields or like even more countries, we would love to. We cannot do that, but we trust our lower grades. As Reia said, we are passing on the social entrepreneurship project to our lower grade students from grade 11 or grade 10. I believe with our prior knowledge and experience in how to conduct a project at such scale, they would be able to learn from us and also conduct their own project and achieve greater success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have a presentation by Anyon Shin. Please take the stage. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Let's begin.
Have you ever thought that some school rules are unreasonable? My goal is to achieve a society in which individual personality and diversity are more accepted in education, and each person can play an active role. To achieve this goal, I am tackling the issue of school rules as a first step, which I feel every day as a high school student. My school has had several unreasonable school rules since I first entered, and unfortunately, nothing has changed even now, 6 years later. I didn't question them at first, but when handheld phone was suddenly banned when I entered the third year of junior high school and all the students were in trouble, I thought the rule was strange and voiced to my homeroom teacher for the first time. Since she didn't know the reason and could not explain it, I took her to the principal and talked to him. But he said, because it's a rule. I explained to him that a manual fan and an electric fan that can be placed on a desk are different in practicality. But they didn't even try to understand what I said and just insisted that it's a rule. It is what it is. So I gave up. It was very frustrating, but this experience showed me the hierarchical relationship among teachers and the situation where it is difficult for students to raise their voices. This past July, I conducted a survey of opinions of school rules for teachers and students at my high school and collected over 150 answers from students and about 40 from teachers. Here are the examples of their answers. Question: are there any current school rules that you think unnecessary? 98.7% of students answered yes, while teachers were 77.8%. Do you understand the reasons and background behind each rule? Very much by students was only 9.2%, and by teachers only 13.9%. Please choose as many as you think should be eliminated as school rules. The top three chosen by students were bangs above the eyebrows, no handheld phones, and no ponytail above ears. By teachers, no ponytail above ears, and then followed by bun hair and bangs at the same rate. Then the color of the black or brown hair tie or pin, and handheld phones in equal numbers. Because I said this anonymous, many answers were very candid, and in particular, teachers showed their true feelings, not their public stance, which made me really surprised. What I noticed through the survey was that there are many teachers who want to change the school rules, but they cannot speak up because of the peer pressure by some teachers who are obsessed with tradition. I found that the teachers who teach and the students who are taught seem to be at odds with each other, but in fact, both want to change the school rules. The teachers receiving the honest opinions of each, I was convinced that students and teachers could join hands together and work together to improve this situation. So teachers and students feel the same way. So next, I'm planning to create opportunities to gather opinions on school rules, not only from teachers and students, but also from parents and people who live near school. And for example, conduct a survey each semester and set up a suggestion box and fix the system. Discuss the most popular opinions and those we think are important, and decide whether they should be adopted, and hand in a letter of opinion to the school principal. Again, my school has room for improvement in terms of diversity. When I told teachers that I want to change the school rules, they're puzzled and confused, and I think this is because there's no precedent. That's why I want to make a precedent at my school, firstly at my high school. And my goal is to achieve a society in which all schools in Japan are freed from unreasonable school rules and diversity is accepted. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Now we would like to move on to the Q&A session. Judges, do you have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. According to the graph you showed, at least I think there's a gap between the perspective of the students and teachers, right? More or less. What do you think is the biggest factor?
I think in the past, Japan focused on education that produced high quality workers who could do the same thing as their parents or who could do as they are told. And today's teachers who grew up with that education may not realize that such roles are not necessary, or perhaps they are dragging the old.
How can it be breakthrough the gap?
Some teachers who are young have already realized our elder teachers don't know about it, so maybe we need a place or opportunity to discuss together and share our opinions and what is truly necessary for age.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Working in school myself, I understand how this program can be very crucial, especially the point that you pointed out. Not only the students, but also the teachers may feel unconfident raising their voices to change the school rules. But I wanted to ask you more specifically how and what's your plan to create this democracy happen. You mentioned things about community and gathering voices from parents as well. Is that through any social media or to create a app or something? If you have something in mind or thinking maybe just a plan, I would like to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, since I'm currently doing this alone, I would like to gather members to form a team, like a school council, to spearhead this activity. And if that is successful, we will use social media and make a clip or accounts and spread this activity throughout Japan.
How is it going to be available throughout Japan if it's just on the student council?
It's like a school council. Like we would like to use social media mainly, but if that has expanded more, then we will like to go to the school in person and if our project was successful at my school first, then we would like to share it and adopt it to the other schools who which has not solved this problem yet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will be ending the Q&A session now. Thank you.
Okay, I will.
Yes.
Yes. Let's be.
Did you know that in 2022, the global percentage of female engineers was only 16.5%? Or that in 2019, only 25.9% of all STEM leaders were women? Or that women make up a mere 30% of the total STEM workforce? Hello, I am Haruka Watanabe, the founder of Belonging in STEM, and I'm appalled by these statistics. Women are a vital part of the STEM fields. Women have played a significant role in countless scientific discoveries, such as Rosalind Franklin in discovering DNA's double helix structure, Gertrude Elliott in inventing drugs against leukemia, and Marie Curie in discovering new elements. So why are we so underrepresented? Today I'll be presenting a long-time dream of mine to help every girl receive an equal opportunity to shine in all STEM areas. Firstly, I'd like to tell you what ignited my passion. The trigger was when I noticed an astoundingly low number of girls at the Robotics Specs IQ Canada Nationals, which I competed in when I was 11. Additionally, I realized that there were no female teachers advising any of the teams at the competition. This led me to wonder why the number of girls interested in robotics is far less than boys, and why even more girls tend to give up exploring their curiosity in STEM in favor of other subjects, resulting in male students outnumbering female students by almost 3 to 1 in computer science and engineering in high school. I eventually found out the reason why. This is because people have lower expectations of girls in regards to their STEM abilities, and they are thus provided with fewer opportunities to excel. But why, you may ask? One reason is biased parenting stereotypes. Parents can strongly influence girls' exposure to STEM education, whether that be positively or negatively. Even though parents and teachers cannot predict the child's future interests, they tend to make assumptions based on the child's gender. For example, when I was little, I was raised to play with dolls and kitchen sets. However, my younger brother was given trucks, construction sets, even an iPad to play with. I later learned that toys primarily marketed towards boys heightened potential in STEM. If parents disregarded these limiting and unfair gender stereotypes, girls like me would have many more opportunities to discover the appeal of STEM at a much younger age. Secondly, girls have limited exposure to female role models in STEM. For example, who would you name if I asked you to identify a famous person working in technology today? Elon Musk? Bill Gates? You're definitely not wrong, but what if I make my question more specific and asked you to name a famous woman working in technology today? If you cannot answer, you're like the 78% of high school and university students who also could not answer. The data shows that there are very few women working in STEM fields today. There's also substantial evidence of the remaining implicit bias against female scientists and engineers due to the groundless belief that men are mathematically superior or better suited to STEM careers. This has led to a decreasing and perpetuating trend whereby girls do not have the role models who will inspire them to become women in STEM, which leads to a decrease in new female STEM workers, even less chances of inspiration, and so on and so forth. This cycle will continue for all subsequent generations as long as no action is taken. Finally, I would like to talk about my organization, Belonging in STEM. Belonging in STEM is an organization I founded half a year ago, catalyzed by the underrepresentation of girls in STEM. It aims to help girls become aware of the possibilities with STEM and realize they will not be alone if they choose the path. I'm working on this by spotlighting inspirational female role models working in STEM to increase awareness of the gender inequalities. Ultimately, I want to prove that girls can achieve something exceptional in STEM if given the opportunity. The choices we make today will profoundly impact our path forward. We must change the mindset of society, challenge these ongoing gender stereotypes, to create a world where every single girl has an equal opportunity to shine in all STEM areas. I would like to end with a quote from former NASA ambassador Michelle Coles. Science is not a boys' game. It's not a girls' game. It's everyone's game. Thank you.
We will begin the Q&A session. Jess, do you have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. I have a great question there. Since you already studied your organization, I wanted to ask that what is the biggest challenge you face?
I would say the biggest challenge I face is getting my project out there. Definitely because I attend an online school, so I do not have already a broad base of people who I can speak to. So I'm working on my project internationally and online, where I showed podcasts
people that I've interviewed. I've currently interviewed 10 women, and yeah, I would say the biggest challenge is getting the word out there, presenting it to more people, letting people know more about the issue.
I want to ask you about this project in detail. Do you have any other activities except for podcasts?
Currently, I've started with podcasts, but because I've founded my project very recently, I plan on expanding it to have more blogs, more social media interactions, and so on.
I see that you are starting a podcast and you will be working on raising awareness toward students who are female, especially. Those projects I see most people, listeners, would be reaching the information by themselves, but how are you trying to address the students who aren't yet interested in STEM, who aren't yet aggressive enough to reach the podcast by themselves?
Yeah, so the biggest issue is that girls aren't aware of what STEM technically is. Girls are given, STEM is hard, boys only go to it, don't go to it. So I would say, I would like more schools to be aware of it so that they can spread my project to their students and so on. And my target audience is middle schoolers and high school students, since they often tend to think about their future as early as that age. Thank you.
Okay, we have reached the end of the time, so we will end the Q&A session. Okay, now we would like to move on to the next speaker's presentation. Thank you. So next up, we have a presentation by Karen Okajima. Yeah, let's begin.
When I was a little girl, it was English picture books that showed me the world more than anything else. I went to Cambodia this month to deliver 100 English picture books to elementary schools. For me, peace is a situation in which everyone receives proper education. By doing so, we can promote social development, economic growth, and contribute significantly to the achievement of other development goals set by the United Nations. My name is Karen Okajima, and I'm acting on an awareness campaign related to education. First, let me talk about my activities. I became interested in educational issues for refugee children when I studied international affairs in elementary school. In the 6th grade, I was the only elementary school student in Japan to pass the United Nations English Proficiency Test, Level A, and received the President's Award of the United Nations Proficiency of Japan. The test coincided with my junior high school entrance exam period, but I really wanted to learn the background of the international news I was watching at that time. The bold challenge and study I took at that time has been utilized in my subsequent activities. Therefore, since becoming a junior high school student, I have been a member of the Japanese branch of the international NGO Earth Guardians. Additionally, I am a member of the Yomiuri Junior Press, the Yomiuri Shimbun's Children's Press Corps, where I plan, report, and write articles. My dream is to bring peace to the world through English picture books. The aspiration that led me to believe in this idea stems from my background. During my early childhood, I was familiar with English picture books at home. As a kindergartner, I started reading many Western books and passed the English proficiency test, ACAN, Level 2 at a young age. Based on my experience, reading many Western books up to the 3rd grade of the ACAN allows for daily conversation level proficiency. A significant obstacle preventing developed countries from providing aid to developing ones is the language barrier. However, being proficient in English enables effective communication with people from other nations, thereby increasing national capabilities. I want to give every child a dream and a chance, just as I had a dream with my English picture books. Goal for our SDGs focuses on making all people literate, and improving literacy has been shown to be effective in resolving poverty. Unfortunately, according to a UNESCO report in 2021, about 121 million children worldwide cannot attend school due to various reasons like poverty, conflicts, and lack of nearby schools. In addition, about 773 million people worldwide are illiterate, having missed out on educational opportunities during their upbringing. This represents about 1 in 6 of the world's adults. I learned that Cambodia, despite being one of the most active developing countries in English education, lacks English teachers and English picture books. Consequently, when I heard that the JCI Japan Global Youth Ambassador to the United Nations was going to Cambodia for a training program for 8 days, I applied for the program. I put up flyers in all the classrooms of the junior and senior high schools calling for donations of English picture books. Additionally, I stood in front of the main gate of the school every morning to collect the books. My goal is to share international cooperation with my generation. In Cambodia, I shared with the local people the importance of English picture books. It is because when contemplating peace, I arrived at the idea that English picture books can contribute to world peace. There are 3 reasons for this belief. First, picture books help us develop our imagination. Criminals have in common that they are said to lack imagination. This also causes acts of terrorism and conflict. Second, they provide a window to learn about the world. Children in developing countries are vulnerable to information. By learning about the world's cultures through pictures, you can broaden your horizons and give hope. And third, they facilitate English language learning. If you can't read the letters, you can't read the explanations and precautions of medicines, then you are at risk of life. Furthermore, I present what I have experienced and my ideas at national speech contests and oratory competitions. What I want to convey to you through this awareness campaign is the importance of education, though. I wish everyone to think that there is a form of international cooperation that can only be achieved when you do it and you make it possible. If everyone adopts this mindset and puts it into practice, I believe the world will become a more peaceful place. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your talks. And now we will move on to the Q&A session. Do you have any questions? Jeff?
Okay, thank you for presentation. I wanted to ask how specifically you are planning to bring the books to children, and expanding the project as well as that's how are you planning to expand the project to
Well, I don't want to just deliver the books and call it a day. I also want to make my own picture book, and I'm just starting it right now. The book is about to make children want to go to school, and I made some friends in Cambodia, so I'm asking them for feedbacks and questions about the situation in Cambodia.
This might be a difficult question, but what is your definition of peace?
Well, as I said, peace is a situation in which everyone receives proper education, because I think that leads to the achievement of all the SDGs goals. Education is the root for all the international problems that are occurring, such as conflicts and terrorism.
Thank you for your presentation. You're primarily focusing on the Cambodia to run project, right? Do you have a plan to expand your project to other countries? And if so, once you reach the other countries, how can they have a good networking internationally?
Well, one country that I'm focusing right now is probably Niger, because the literacy rate is the lowest right now, and I think that they not speak their native language. So I think, but I still think that learning your both native language and your second language is possible, just as it was in my case. So in order to do that, I think they should go to school at first. And I came up with some solutions for them to go to school, such as adopting flexible class hours for the children to come to school after they work, and also adopting job training programs to help parents become independent.
Thanks.
Okay, time is up. So we have reached the end of the time, so we will end the Q&A session. Okay, now we will move on to the next person. Thank you. So we have a presentation by Haruka Imaizumi.
I am an international person. During my 2 outstanding and enriching years at an international school in Switzerland, I had a chance to be deeply immersed in a fascinating culture that is so different from Japan's, with friends from all over the world. And it made me realize how different and precious Japanese living standards are. Among them, I felt a big difference in a common sense of menstruation across the developed and developing world. Now the question, who knows how many menstrual periods a woman will have in her lifetime? If we assume that the menstruation starts at the age of 12, let's say, and it ends at the age of 50, we will have menstruation for an astonishing 38 years. If we do the math, we find that we will have menstruated a whopping 456 times. Surprising, isn't it? Boom. I think everyone knows what this is. Here we go. Yes, it's a period pad. When I say the word period pad, the first thing that will come to your mind is, period products. They ensure the absorption of period blood from body and to help us spend a comfortable time without leaking outside. But this thing that we take for granted is a distant dream for women all over the world. Imagine this. About 65% of women or girls have difficulty even obtaining sanitary pads in Kenya. And even more astonishingly, only 32% have access to the facilities such as toilet that allow them privacy when changing period pads. While we're fortunate to have access to the clean sanitary products, we need to understand what the woman of developing country faces every day. The moment has come for our voices to become their voices. But then there's this other problem that exists in the world today. Clothes. There are too many clothes produced. The term fast fashion refers to inexpensive and pretty much affordable items. In order to satisfy our desire, clothing is being mass produced and treated as disposable. But do you know what's happening as a result? The problem of the surplus clothing is not only bad for the environment, but can also cause decline of the local apparel industry, worker layoffs, and modern colonization. Here's my what if we could combine these two problems and do something that will fundamentally contribute to society? Here's my project, the Hearing Pad Project. This aims to free women from the shortage of sanitary products and to cultivate an attitude in which women accept and overcome their natural process as hearing. Let's talk about the pad structure. The top sheets made by nylon or polyester prevent stickiness, and the second layer, the absorbent for efficiently absorb blood. We're going to use rayon or cotton for this part, and the third layer, the antifungal agent. Polypropylene might be the best one. And the fourth, at the bottom layer, we're going to use anti-slip agent. Since we're focusing on eco-friendliness, we're going to use cellulose-based adhesive or soy glue for this. The whole process, collected clothes sorted by material, cut into napkin-sized pieces, sterilized in the boiling water, packed in sets of 4, and then finally distributed to schools. Then students attach them with staplers before use. Then what will happen after? Female students typically dispose of used sanitary pads by wrapping them in special bags. This prevents the growth of bacteria, and schools often have the collection process that in place for these bags. Then after collected, pads then sent to an incinerator where they're heated to reduce or minimize the harmful substances such as dioxin. To get feedback, we will put a QR code on a package so that students get access to the feedback page. This can be used to improve or create a new project. I alone cannot make this project a reality. Therefore, there are 4 ways to raise funds or to make it reality. First, we will run SNS promotion. Then second, advertise on TV or billboards. And then third, raise subsidized funds from the government. And then fourth, get sponsorship from the companies. This is how I will solve this problem. I am the international person who can make the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we're going to a Q&A section. Jess, do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you for your presentation. It seems like it's a very big project that will be going to happen. Are you going to do this alone, or do you have any group or teams to work with?
I'm currently working by myself, but in the future I'd like to, like through the 1 year work community, I'd like to find like partners or someone that I can share ideas with. Yeah.
What's the first step you'll be doing apart from gathering members?
Probably SNS promotion, and also I'm currently writing blogs, but only like with 400 likes or something. So I like to letting many people to read my blogs. I like as a first step, I'm going to use SNS promotion. Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. I think the deliver the product is the important step. So do you have any idea to deliver the items, product to the people?
We're targeting on female students in mainly African country. So we'd like to make period pads in African country and then deliver to the schools in African country. So we can like eliminate some like steps to from Japan to African country. So we can minimize the cost, and also like as I said, when they deliver the sanitary pads to the school, at the same time they can collect the used period pads to the incinerator. So yeah, we can minimize the cost. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we have reached the end of the time, so we will end the Q&A session. Thank you. Next, we have a presentation by Kaito Nanko from One Young World's Boys Spring Camp. Are you ready? Yeah, let's begin.
Has anyone heard of atrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS? It is a disease that causes loss of muscle movement throughout the body. That is known as the king of incurable disease. And there are about 10,000 patients in Japan and 400,000 worldwide. My mother has ALS. She got them when I was 11 years old and lost her freedom to move her body in just a year. However, in recent years, a number of care resources have emerged to help this situation. For example, eye tracking devices and voice search services that allow patients to communicate. These resources are critically important to their lives. However, my mother and I lacked such useful information. And also, when I held a hearing at an ALS patient group, all 30 participants responded that they had the same needs. Lack of information. This is true not only for ALS, but also for all other life issues such as disease, disabilities, and social issues. I don't want anyone to give up on their possibilities just because they don't know useful resources. So, I planned an information platform about private care resources for life issues, and decided to take my first step with ALS information. It is information as infrastructure. Infra. This website includes 5 main sections. First, technology and non-profit services. Here, users can find technologies and services that fit their own needs. Second, communities. It deals with information about communities developed by NPOs and peer support groups. Users can find further information about their issues and friends and discuss their concerns here. Third, stories. This will serve as an inspiration for users to help them to find hope and reference their issues. Fourth is portal site. This section introduces a website that overview life issues, news, and other information. Fifth, co-creation. This allows the users to request their needs they find in their daily lives, and that allows companies and researchers to solicit opinions from that. So, Infora allows the users to easily find this information and address hidden needs. This can support and light up the people's lives. This can support and light up the people's lives more brightly. So, to achieve this, I plan to improve the accessibility and design of Infora. For accessibility, I plan to work with ALS Association of Japan, JALSA, which is connected to most Japanese ALS patients, and other organizations to spread this website. For design, I plan to work with engineers and designers to improve the visibility and usability of this site. In the future, Infora will increase the number of topics to be handled and eventually make it a care resource information platform for all life issues. There are so many care resources, but just because people don't know about them, people end up giving up on their future that they don't need to give up on. I will change this situation and light up their people's lives by information platform as infrastructure. Infora. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now we will go down to the Q&A session. Jazz, do you have any question?
Thank you for your presentation. I have a question that in terms of the function of the service, how will the service curate the self-active stories?
Thank you. I'm planning to curate stories by getting cooperation from other experts, organizations such as ALS Association, and for example, ALS role models or ALS patients who have disabilities but who have hope and other jobs like role models. All of them are joining in such ALS Association in Japan. So I'm planning to cooperate with such organization and create information from there.
Thanks. Thank you for presentation. Thank you. So you explained 5 functions. I think that some existing services are providing each information, but I think there are no players providing all information like 5 functions. So I'd like to ask you what is the value to integrate these five functions?
Thank you. Those 5 functions are things that I want to get the information when I was young carer with my mother. Actually, I have experienced the young carer and care for my mother, ALS my mother, and at that time I don't have information, but by going to city halls and hospitals, I can get information about public assistance. But all of those non-public, all of those informal services, informal information doesn't exist there. So those sections are from my opinion, from my experiences.
Thank you very much.
We have reached the end of the time, so we will end the Q&A session. Thank you. The next person is by Haruka Kusuyama. Please take the stage.
Hello everyone, I'm a member of Rappi called Haruka Kusuyama. I'd like to show you my Rappi project.
Japan ranks second in plastic packaging waste emission in the world. I felt so frustrated when I heard this part. Just because Japan didn't get first place? No, it is because even though there is a useful wrapping material in Japan, many Japanese wrapping in plastic. Besides, it's overlapping. Well, what is useful wrapping material? It is piece of wrapping cloth called furoshiki in Japanese. When I found out this fact, I wanted to work on the spirit of the value of furoshiki and solving the overlapping problem. At the time, I became a wrapping course member interested in these. I realized it was more than I could manage alone, and I took action to make wrapping course bigger with my team member, Nanami. First, we conducted a survey of 464 people. We found two pieces of important information. People didn't have high interest in furoshiki, and only 44.4% of respondents were concerned about overlapping. Next, we interviewed the people from the barber dyeing industry which manufactured furoshiki. Mr. Baba explained furoshiki has been on decline and there are only 3 furoshiki factories in Japan. Additionally, we learned all defective furoshiki from manufacturing process are thrown away. Even small slices like this is discarded as defective. Demand is equal to 5% of all production. After this groundwork, I discovered a big goal. That is a realized, reformed society. Nowadays, people throw away quickly and make new ones. This is not sustainable. Instead of throwing plastic away, I will make defective furoshiki reborn as a solution to overlapping. So I came up with the idea, wrapping custom here furoshiki contest. This idea was sent to defective furoshiki who will compete for the world's most innovative wrapping methods. We held a mock furoshiki contest in the form of workshop. Together we explored whether this idea would be effective in increasing wrapping course member. We just asked the participants to please wrap a lunchbox with furoshiki in the easiest way. In a post-workshop survey, interest in furoshiki and sense of danger of overlapping has increased. Japan throws away 13 kilograms of plastic waste per person every year. If these 60 people were to stop overlapping, they would be reduced plastic waste by 512 kilograms. This is our plan. We will advertise this way and hold furoshiki contest on Furoshiki Day, February 23rd. Let me explain the impact we expect from our plan. Suppose 100 people participate in this contest thanks to the advertisement. The amount of plastic waste will be reduced by more than 3 tons. This is the same way as 2 hippos. Oh, big number, right? Languages wrapping. Wrapping is not required. Language is not required wrapping. This has the potential to go outward. We will hold a furoshiki contest, make wrapping cost bigger, and realize the point society. Now, it's not time to throw away. It's time to be reborn. Why don't you be reborn as a wrapping course member? That's all. Thank you.
Guys, do you have any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. The solution requires the efforts both from consumers and producers, right? What do you think is the biggest challenge when producers or stores, respond or adapt those?
So it means the biggest value for the for the company, supermarket and so on.
Yeah,
I
to
think,
correspond with the new frost-shaking tools.
I think the people who like use the plastic or think for example the supermarket and what department and so on. But I think if many people are stop the buying the vegetable and product without the plastic packaging, or people know the crowd are thinking about the demand, so probably there are more vegetables without packaging. So it's very good for the what's the environment. Also the concern situation actually is very dedicated what's the production and demand. So I think important. Also the producer manufacture people who manufacture recipe. For example, Mr. Barber. I interviewed people that Mr. Barber, and Mr. Barber said it's very difficult to transmit the value of recipe because Mr. Barber is kind of the producer, so it's not familiar to the connected so for transmit social media and the user transmit social media. So I think it's my role to transmit and spread the value of recipe. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, we have reached the end of the time, so we will end the Q&A session. Thank you. Last presentation is by Kohki Yamada. Please come to the stage. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's begin.
Hello everyone, my name is Kohki Yamada. To begin, let me introduce myself a little bit. I grew up mostly in Tokyo, but because I wanted to live by the ocean and be surrounded by fish, I go to a school in Ikime Prefecture. And in my high school, I've been doing projects to disseminate the fascination of my community and the hobby fishing. And today's presentation is related to the experience that I had during the 3 years of my high school life. First, please look at the screen. This graph shows the trend in the amount of fish caught in the past 50 years. We can see that from the peak in the 1980s, the production volume has decreased to 1/3. Overfishing, marine pollution, and global warming have caused the amount of fishery resources to decrease. To protect fishery resources, the tax system was introduced to Japan in 1997, but this system limited the amount of fish fishermen could catch, and their incomes have stayed low since then. As to prove that, this table, well, there's a decrease in the number due to COVID-19, shows that especially people in the coastal fishing industry have little income in general. I asked some fishermen in my community if they had any struggle doing their job to reach further information. One thing they said was that fish prices are unstable. Changes in social conditions like COVID-19 often make fish prices become variable. And they also mentioned that there has been a decline in fish catches recent years. These issues are causing fishermen's income to decrease. Moreover, many people are not only unaware of the fishermen's current situation, but also lack interest in them. To solve these problems, I think that it is important to tell people about the reality that fishermen are facing. So, I suggest doing education about Umieji project. Of course, we all know that it is important to protect marine resources, but I want to help fishermen as well. I believe that this project can make a cycle that consumers, fishermen, and the environment can all reach to benefit. The first element of Umieji project is to disseminate information on TV and SMS. In short, I'm going to be an influencer that offers information about fisheries. These are some examples of videos I would make to transmit the reality of fishermen. By doing these, I believe that we can attract some interest in fish, which leads to the prices of fish to increase, and that fishermen will not have to catch too much fish. The second element of Umieji project is to provide a fishery experience. I want many people, regardless of their age, to have fun working as a fisherman. Things they experience in this program will have a bigger impact than what they learn throughout videos or articles, so I think we can expect bigger effects. Also, if participants consider fishermen as a future career option, they would mean a lot for the Asian fishing industry. Finally, the contents of this project might seem quite normal, but only me, who spent 3 years of high school life surrounded by fishermen, can tell other people the reality and fun parts of the fishing industry. Also, this project is only the first step in raising the social status of fishermen. I would like to study various fields later on and work on creating a system and cycle that will be beneficial to consumers, fishermen, and the environment. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Now, we'll move on to the Q&A session. Do you have any questions, Jess?
Thank you for your presentation. I would like you to explain a bit more about how your project is going to connect with the solution to raise the income of the fishermen. As you mentioned that you are working on education, educating people who will be consumers, while the fish prices are usually decided in the market, fish market, also maybe in international situations, exploitations, as well as the amount of fish the fishermen can gather would be also being relied on the environmental issues as well. So can you specifically more explain about how those issues and your fish are connected?
If I educate the consumers to to know about fishery, I think that people's interest towards fish goes up, increases, and I think that leads to buying fish for dinner, and that also leads to fish prices to increase because there is a limit of fish that fishermen could catch, but if many people wants to eat fish, the prices goes up. So and if fish prices goes up, fishermen that are difficult condition doesn't have to work too much, and that leads to the image of fishery to be now I think the image of fishery is it's hard, you have to work hard, but I think that becomes a little bit easy for everyone to be connected to fishery.
Yes, we have reached the end of the time, so we will end the Q&A session. Thank you.